and welcome to the coverage of the 2017 Nokian Tyres World Orienteering Championships. I'm Catherine Bett and I'll be bringing you all the action from the men's and women's sprint finals here in Tartu, Estonia. Orienteering is the ultimate test of physical, mental and technical skill. Athletes navigate the course using a map where a certain number of controls are marked. They must visit all the controls in the correct order. They also have to decide which routes to take to get around the whole course. There are a few TV controls where we can track their progress, but the athletes are not allowed to look at the map until the moment they start. Distances can range from sprint events at 3 kilometres to long distance events of 18 kilometres. Every control is marked with an orange and white flag, and runners show they've been there by registering with a touch-free electronic chip. The longer events take place in forests and heathlands and are a test of endurance. But for the shorter distances, the athletes head to the towns where running and navigation speed is key and every second counts. Every athlete is also equipped with a GPS tracker, which enables spectators to watch where they're going out on the course and enables them to see the route choices they've made. As well as individual competitions, there are also relays. The forest relay has a mass start and is run in teams of 3. For all events, the fastest time on the course wins, whether it's a mass start or an individual time trial. The time is measured when all the controls are visited in the correct order and the athlete crosses the finishing line. So today in Tartu we start with the women's course. They've got 3.4 kilometres to run, visiting 13 controls along the way and climbing over the Tartu hill with 65 metres of climb. We estimate that the winning time will be 13 minutes or possibly just a bit over. And this is the map that they will be running on today. Starting from the main square in Tartu, they head up the hill and there's an interesting route choice on this leg as they head to the top of the hill through some of the grassy and forested areas of Tartu. Again, another route choice into control number 2, which way around the buildings you go. Then they go past the Tartu Cathedral, where we'll see them at TV split number 1, also known as control number 4. Again, there's another route choice as they head down the hill back into the old part of town for controls number 5 and 6, where they have to avoid some of the artificial barriers that have been put out into the city today. And then again, they go back through the arena where they'll be cheered through by all the spectators watching. Again, up the hill into control number 7, where we will catch them on with the TV cameras again. Control 8 and then 9, where we will get our second TV split. We can tell you how they're doing out on the course. Again, back up the hill to the observatory for control 10, and then down the hill to a statue of Oscar Wilde for control 11, and then a few controls before they head to the fountain of the kissing students and back into the finish where we will get their time. So it's a course of lots of route choice. The actual navigation isn't too tricky, but it will all be about which routes they decide to take to the controls, such as to control number 1. Now we think the blue route is going to be much quicker, even though it goes up a very, very steep hill. And again, to control number 2, there are lots of different routes they could take going around the buildings, and they've also got to try and avoid climbing these very steep slopes. Now we think that the green line is the shortest, but also the fastest, because you don't lose much height on it as well, and it's very easy line to take. But we will see them taking lots of different route choices through the race. Again, 10 to 11. There's not much in it. This is all down to a few seconds, but the shorter route, the red one, is just a tiny bit quicker going down the stairs. But it's a time trial race, and one of the starters is Venla Harju from Finland. She was 3rd in the sprint in 2013, is a very good Finnish runner. But we also have Natalia Gempela. She's ranked number 2 in the world, and she's got 1 gold from the relay last year in Scotland. But here out on the course, this is control number 8. We pick up with Venla Harju. She's more than halfway around the course now, just got 1 kilometre to go, and she'll head down here and take a right at the end. You can see the way she's looking at her map on the run, and that just shows the speed. You can't even afford to hesitate on some of these races. and she will take the punch in a new fastest time ahead of her teammate Marie Katani, 8.1 seconds in the lead. That's a good lead at the moment as she makes her way up the hill. But here starting is the favourite for the race. It is the double defending sprint champion, Maja Alm from Denmark. She's also won the sprint race at the World Cup and has got 5 World Championships gold medals to her name. She is definitely the favourite in this race, and we know her physical form this year is very, very good. So waiting back at our TV split number 2, this looks like Natalia Gempela. She's going to come and be slightly down on the lead of Venla Haju at the moment, but it's only 1 second, and we still know there are a few route choices to make at the end of this course. So she's just finding a gap between the 2 buildings there and heading out to control number 10 back up the hill. But here is another of the Russians. This is Galina Vinogradova, the sister of Natalia Gempela. Age 38, she's a sprint specialist and took a 4th place in 2016 when the World Championships was held in Strömstad in Sweden. She's already making the decisions of how to get to control number 1. There's a few decisions to be made, and it could cost you, we reckon, about 30 seconds if you go the wrong way to controls 1 and 2. But here in the finishing line, this is Venla Haju. Her time looks good over that of Ida Marie Nesbjørgel from Norway, and she has had a great race. One of the earlier starters, they start in the order, a reverse order of that they qualified, so the qualifiers, those that have qualified the fastest, they go last, so we're looking for the last starters to make a mark. But this is Natalia Gempela also punching the final control and heading up the run-in. She's had a great race and still got 30 seconds to spare on the time of Venla Haju. A great run from the athlete who didn't even run the sprint race last year in Sweden. It's a great run from her, and that's already a leading time of nearly 17 seconds. That is a good margin. But out in the terrain, this is Maja Alm choosing to take the slope, which is a bit even quicker than the steps, and being a bit hesitant, but being careful to make her route choice going down the hill, and we can catch up with her again on the way to split number 2 to control number 9. Maja Alm has great physical speed and is also one to watch out for in the sprint relay, with 2 gold medals to her name there as well. And the time is looking excellent. She's still got 30 seconds to spare on that lead of Venla Haju, who we saw currently in 2nd place at the finish. And that's a lead of 24.9 seconds. And just the quick nature of how she goes through those controls. This is Galina Vinogradova. She punches at the statue of control 8 and heading to our 2nd TV split at number 9. She is the 2nd to last starter, although the last starter doesn't seem to have been having a good race, so she's the only one now who can challenge the time of Maja Alm, and she is already behind at this point in the race. She's not quite matching the speed of the Dane, and that is 11.5 seconds behind. Now, that could be too far already, as we see Maja Alm punch control 11 by the statue of Oscar Wilde and head into the final few controls, and she's already catching up a runner in front of her who started a minute before her on this time trial race. But we know those at the end are going to be the best, and she takes the turn, takes the punch, just checking it's registered on the touch-free. And I think the great thing about the sprint is just how everyone can watch out in the town and everyone can cheer on the athletes. Yep, this is Maja Alm. She's caught up Elena Roos of Switzerland, who started a minute before her. Elena Roos was 6th last year, so that just shows you the speed and class of Maja Alm, as she checks exactly where she's going to punch at this control on the fountain of the kissing students. And then this is her sprint for the line, and her time is great. She's got more than 50 seconds to spare. This is a commanding performance from the double sprint world champion. Can she make it 3 golds? It looks very good for her. Her time is excellent, and a new leading time by 37 seconds, with only one runner out there, Vinogradova, who can possibly match the speed, and this is her. She's going around these taped areas that are marked in olive green on the map. That means they're out of bounds, punching the control, and that's a mistake there. That end was blocked off by the olive green. That means it's out of bounds. Didn't see that on the map. It's quite a small detail, but it's crucial. That's a couple of seconds even just overrunning that. And she knows that could be decisive as the margins are so small. But punching the final control, and Galina Vinogradova into the run-in. She's already behind on the time of Maya Alm. The gold is safe with the Dane, but it is whether she can get close to the time of Natalia Gempela at 37 seconds behind. It's going to be very close, and she's pushed into third place, 1.7 seconds behind that of Gempela. That is very, very close there. But it looks like it's one better than her fourth place last year in Sweden. But will probably be kicking herself for that mistake. She was ahead of Gempela at number 12, and just that little mistake of not realising of the out-of-bounds area marked in olive green, that has cost her the silver medal. But the winner, though, was Maya Alm. Well deserved for her, and you can see how much it means to her to get those 3 gold medals in the sprint in a row, taking it up to a great total of medals. She's got 6 world medals, and this is how they did it. These are the GPS routes from around the course. They're taking very, very similar routes, though Alm does seem to be the faster runner. Now, this route choice was not so good from Maya Alm, means Galina Vinogradova was able to overtake her, but Vinogradova did not take the best route choice to number 6, where they had to avoid all of the artificial barriers. So Maya Alm was in the lead going through the arena. And again, they're taking very similar route choices, but here you can see the speed of Maya Alm just makes all the difference as they go through and back up the hill again to control 10. I think Gempela taking a slightly slower route choice and losing some time there, but the 2 Russians very close together as Maya Alm is already out ahead. And this is the mistake, though, from Vinogradova that means that she ended up in bronze. So those are the final results. Maya Alm in first place for Denmark, 37 seconds behind Natalia Gempela, and also the Russian Galina Vinogradova into third place. And these are the medals, the flowers presented for the top 3 women in sprint distance at these World Championships in Tartu. So the women's final has finished, and we're straight on to the men's course. They'll be running around the streets of Tartu today to be crowned the world champion. Now, their course is slightly longer at 4 kilometers. They've got 15 controls to visit and more climb of 85 meters. The athletes have said it was a very, very tough physical course out there, but they were all expecting the steep grassy slopes here. And we can have another quick look at the map that they will be running on, all the controls they will be visiting. The start is very similar to the women's course. They will head up the hill. Again, some route choice decisions to be made here, and then again some decisions to be made to number 2. They pass the cathedral and the museum of Tartu on the top of this hill, and we'll get a split at control number 4. Then some route choice which way around the buildings to go as they head down the hill into control number 5, around some of the artificial barriers as they take this long leg into control number 6, through the arena, and then back out into the terrain, heading back up the hill into the more parkland of Tartu. Control 8 on the statue, and we'll get another TV split in control number 9. And then this is a much longer leg through here, provides a lot of route choice as they go to control number 10. It's a lot of up and over the hills, and a shorter one to 11. Back up the hill again to the observatory at number 12, down the steps to the statue of Oscar Wilde in 13, and then a few controls, 14, and the Fountain of the Kissing Students at 15 before the run-in to the finish. Again, it is a course of lots of route choice, but the athletes will have been planning their own courses on the map and being able to visualise their own route choices. One of these route choices is number 9 to 10, and this could be decisive. Which way round all the buildings you go? Do you try and avoid some of the climb? But we think that the quickest is the brown route. It's certainly the shortest, but it does involve going up a very, very steep hill. And by the end of this competition, it may get very, very slippery. But it is the most direct one. It requires the least amount of running. And with the physical strength that all these athletes have, then they know that they can tackle any of the hills that they want to. It's just about making the right choices when it matters. Again, there's a choice to make from 12 to 13. Which way out of the observatory do you go, and then down the steps, or do you go down the slope? We think the red route is slightly quicker, but it's only a couple of seconds in it. But especially in the men's race, where it's a lot closer, then it's the seconds that could matter. The men's race is wide open. There's no favourite like there was in the women's race. But one of the men who could challenge for some of the top places is Frédéric Tranchon from France. This is him starting in the time trial format and heading out past all of the spectators. And we can catch up with him at split number 1, where Martin Regbom from Sweden is our current leader. And the time is looking very close, but it is a new leading time by only 0.4 seconds. That is how close it is between all of these men. But it is a new leading time from Frédéric Tranchon, from the 29-year-old who's ranked number 19 in the world. He was 8th in the sprint last year, but he has got a bronze medal in this discipline to his name from 2010. And you can see how it looks like he just knows exactly where to go. But also starting, this is our defending champion. This is Jerker Lusel from Sweden. But he has been out with an injury ever since last summer, and this is his comeback race. We don't know what to expect from him, neither does he, but the Swedish crowds are definitely going to be cheering him on. He has got good sprint form, but we don't quite know what's in his legs, although obviously ran a great qualification race. Now this is control 7. This is Frédéric Tranchon, as we catch back up with him. He will head down the slope and find control number 8. Tranchon was 6th at the World Cup sprint race in Finland a few weeks ago, and will easily take the route using the touch-free electronic timing device. And you can see how he's using the map to already plan the route from the control he's about to find to the next one. And our current lead at this point is Wojtek Kral from the Czech Republic, and his time is looking pretty good as he rounds the corner. He's got 8 seconds to make it to this control. And it's a new leading time, only 1.6 seconds in it. But everything can change with some of the route choices later on in this race. And this is Jerker Lusel just punching to go into 10th place, 11.3 seconds down at the 4th control. But with the route choices on this leg, 11.3 seconds can be caught from that early part in the race. But this, starting now, this is Daniel Hubman. He's defending the bronze medal from last year in Sweden. But he has 6 World Championship golds to his name, including 1 at the sprint in 2011. But this is Tranchon. He's making his way into the finish, and his time is looking good compared to that of Wojtek Kral. He's had a great, solid race, has the Frenchman, and is being cheered on by the crowd as he takes the line, and a good new leading time of 16 seconds. That is an impressive time to be taken out of the Czech athlete. But back to the race, and this is Jerker Lusel, who has some easy downhill running to go through into control number 8. And here you can see how the parkland and the buildings just are a key part of Tartu. So punching control number 8 and heading round the corner. He was 10th place at our first TV split. Has he been able to pull up any time as other people make mistakes? Has he been able to keep it clean? And rounding the corner, current leader is Emil Svensk from Sweden. Although we think he's made some bad route choices later on in the race, he's not going to feature in the final results. So going into second place, 2.6 seconds down, but more importantly ahead of Frédéric Chanchon as he makes his way to the next control. But this is Matthias Kiberts. He is the defending silver medalist and the winner of the Swiss Sprint Championships. The Swiss are a great nation of orienteers and of sprinters. He's got 4 golds to his name. And Jyrki Lysell, he's coming down the steps into control number 13, being able to read his map even on the way down the steep slope and punching the control. He's just got a short sprint for the last few controls and the line now, and heading into the final control. This is our defending champion in his comeback race after a whole year out of injury. He's not raced since the last World Cup, and the time is looking close. He's already got 13 seconds to beat Frédéric Chanchon of France, and he will give it his best as he is catching up the Danish runner who started a minute before him. He's down on the time of Chanchon though, and with 2.3 seconds behind, taking him into the silver medal position. But there are still the likes of Hubman and Kibert, the 2 Swiss runners, still to come. And this is Daniel Hubman. This is one of the masters of orienteering and a complete all-rounder with 6 golds to his name. In 2016, he was second in the relay and took 3 bronze medals in the other disciplines, but missed out on a gold medal last year in Sweden. So the gold medal is what he really wants. He wants to add it to his total of 6. Can he do it? He's got 23 seconds to spare on the time of Frédéric Chanchon, but if anyone can do it, it's Daniel Hubman. He's had a great race, making all the right route choices and just having great speed in his legs up the really steep slopes, and looks like he's going to do it. He's set the new fastest time, 2.9 seconds ahead of Frédéric Chanchon, putting him in the gold medal position. But there is still Matthias Kiberts, his teammate, who could take it from him. This is the defending silver medalist from last year. And he was also second in the World Cup. This is a man who knows how to do sprint orienteering, but he's already behind Daniel Hubman. Where is he going to fit in? Is he going to get a medal? But no, looks like he's going to be slotting into 4th place. 5.7 seconds down, half a second down from a bronze medal. And this is how it was won by Daniel Hubman. All the men taking very similar route choices into controls 1 and 2, and again through 3 and 4. Hubman and Chanchon looking very, very close, and Daniel Hubman possibly not taking the best route choice into control 5. Again, they weave through all our artificial barriers into control number 6, where it's all about speed, and that's where you can see Daniel Hubman getting ahead of the others. Again, up the hill into control number 7, different route choices. It doesn't seem to matter that much, but it means Daniel Hubman has a great run to control number 8. A little bit of a mistake there, though, coming out of 9, and then a decision to take it up the steps. We think this is about 10 seconds that Daniel Hubman lost on that route choice. So he's behind at the moment in the course, but just the way he's able to climb this hill into control number 12 puts him in the lead, and this route choice into 13 cements his position in the lead. It's still really close though between all 3 of the medalists, but in the end it was Daniel Hubman who was able to take that lead, much to the delight of all of the Swiss fans out here. So Daniel Hubman in the lead, 2.9 seconds ahead of Frenchman Frédéric Chanchon and 5.2 seconds ahead of Jyrki Lysell. these were the men who took the medals and can enjoy their flower ceremony here today in Tartu.